Downgrading of the U.S. credit rating. Let's bring in now our human behavior expert, Dr. Wendy Walsh. So, Wendy, this is a huge blow to the national self-esteem. People are bummed about our country's state, right? So how do you handle these feelings of depression and maybe sadness that some people are getting? Especially, I guess it would be really, instead of out of control, just a not knowing really what this means for me and for my interest rates and for my home and credit cards and my personal finances.
You know, it's a simple answer, Don. Get involved. If you have some sense that you're contributing something. Remember the disaster in Haiti? Those people who were texting their $10 or doing something in some small way, help them feel better and alleviate some of their anxiety. The same thing. Get involved in your local politics. Start voting. If you're not registered to vote, shame on you. Okay, and you're over 18, get involved in the system and the process, and then you will have more control. That's the bottom line. All right,
just having the control where you can. Good right. Answer there. Okay, so listen, that's good advice. I want to move on now to the case of the LA City Commissioner under investigation, just under investigation, I want to say, for having child porn. Now, his excuse, he says, my tumor made me do it. His name is Albert Abrams. He just resigned days ago, Wendy, as a neighborhood commissioner. He told our affiliate KCBS that a tumor in his spine triggered his split personality, saying, quote, it is what my split personality decided to do. That's what happens when you have tumors. Wendy, are you buying this? And what is a split personality?
He's talking about a form of schizophrenia, of course, multiple personality disorder. But when the call, I was speaking with your producer yesterday, Don, and having lunch at the American Psychological Association with a psychiatrist and two psychologists, and I bounced this off them, and they laughed and said basically he's full of crap. He's a sociopath, and he's not only a sociopath, he's a sociopath pedophile. So I wouldn't give much credence to the tumor excuse.
That's what I was going to say. I've heard of split personality before, but never a split personality because of a tumor. I'd never heard of that. You remember the old days, the Sybil, remember that back in the day, TV show?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on now. Let's return to the story that we first mentioned when we were starting this segment. Our Dallas affiliate, KTVT, reports two sisters, grief-stricken, took a Southwest flight from Burbank to Dallas to see their father on his deathbed, Wendy. The one sister asks the flight attendant for a drink, and she says she later overhears the attendant say this, look.
Oh yeah, we're all nervous flyers, and we all need a drink. You know, you can only handle so much. And I just turned around and I said, excuse me. I said, you don't know anything about me and my situation.
Okay, so the airline told KTVT that the flight attendant was, quote, uneasy with the sisters on board, so Southwest removed them and booked them on another flight. Wendy, we all have these moments when we could either bite our tongue or say something, so do you think that the woman should have stayed silent, or, I don't know, is it worse to keep your frustration bottled up, especially when a person is grieving?
You know, we weren't there, so it's really hard to comment. But in answer to your question about should we learn to bite our tongue sometimes, we should not be using short-term strategies for long-term goals. Her short-term strategy was to get her drink. Her long-term goal was to get to her father's deathbed. So I think sometimes in America, our individual rights and freedom of speech go a little too far. We need to learn how to put on a public personality, especially in a pressure situation like an airplane. I mean, flight attendants are under a lot of stress, and there's a lot of threats to the sky and a lot of threats to them and their job. So I'm sorry this happened. It seems like a very tragic misunderstanding, but sometimes we just got to learn to bite our tongues.
You don't think it was a bit of an overreaction, though? We weren't there. We don't know what happened on that plane, but...
Again, yeah. I wasn't there. I didn't hear the tone of voice. I didn't see the body language and everything else that went with it.
Okay, moving on now. Google just had its first International Science Fair, and the top winners were 3 American girls. What do you think of this? Usually, I thought guys were supposed to be better in science. No?
You know, I did the touchdown cheer when I saw this, and the winner, that high school student you're seeing right there, she developed some cellular way to beat ovarian cancer. I mean, it's just amazing. Now, the truth is that women have traditionally lagged behind in the hard sciences, but with the exception of biology. And so they tend to win in biology. The thing I loved about this, it was, I think, offered into 21 or 91 countries. A lot of countries participated in it, is that it was online, the entry system. So there was no kind of bias in the registration. Anybody could go online and present their science project. And the other piece about it is that, you know, traditional science fairs might have had traditionally old-fashioned male science teachers who encouraged their male students. So this was an internet free-for-all, and 3 girls won the top honors in all 3 age categories. So it's really exciting.
Girl power. Did you do the whole You said the touchdown dance. Did you
I did.
spike the ball and everything?
Running around the kitchen. I was really happy.
Whose side are you on, Wendy? All right. Thank you. Congratulations to the girls. The chick side. Thanks, Wendy. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
The U.S. no longer has perfect credit. No longer. No perfect credit for the U.S. For the first time ever, the S&P took the country's top rating down a peg. So what does that mean to you? We're going to explain.